Hey, so what I'm going to be doing today is just showing you how to make a dread the way I made my dreads. I also brought extensions, and I will show you how I do that as well. I'm just going to show you how I make them though, because putting them in is a little different for me, and to be honest, for me, I don't really care if they're not really in a very pretty or sightly manner. So I have some dreadlocks that I recently sewn in, like, oh fuck, you can't really see it, but it's not at all pretty. It's like kind of all over the place. Like you can see the string, like you can see this string here sticking out. Yes. So yeah, like it's in there like nice and tight, because actually this one only used to end about here, and now it's a little bit longer because I added another extension to it, so it's the one that's right in the middle. And yeah, so like there's string and stuff sticking out, and I don't really care because I just want to get it done quickly. So I'm not going to show you how I put them in, because first of all, I don't do them very strategically. I don't do them in a very like nice way. So I would recommend looking at somebody else's videos to see how to put stuff in, because the way I like to do is I just like to get it done fast and then leave it alone. So yeah, I'll just show you how I make dreads and then how I do the extensions, and yes. So as you can see, I put a little elastic band around this right here. This is the dread that I'm going to show you how to make. It's kind of partly dreaded together already, just because my hair just kind of matted together. Like I have like these frillies that are, okay, this is a dread, but I have, okay, for example, like these down here, these little frillies, they're not necessarily dreading together, but actually they're kind of, they kind of are, just because they get knotted, and it's hard for me to separate them, so I just like leave it. But regardless, yeah, they're like kind of dreading, kind of not, because they're still like their own, they still don't look like dreads, they just look like matted hair. It's kind of what they are. But anyway, so yeah, this is my dread. I will show you about, yikes. Okay, I'm just gonna break this elastic because I put it in pretty tight. Okay, there we go. So yes, this is the section of hair that I have. It's not a very big section, but I actually recently had a dread that I just pulled out because my hair was about this much of my hair, this little tiny piece, and then this huge, like not huge, but like a big dread attached to the end, and for some reason that dread didn't fall out. That was the one that decided to stay attached like the entire time, and then I just thought it was the stupidest looking thing ever, so I just pulled it out and well, I cut it out and then made that part of my hair thicker and then reattached the dread, because it was just pissing me off so much that that was the one that didn't fall out. Yet these like massive dreads that I have that I try the hardest to keep in, those are the ones that fall out all the time. So yeah, that was me. But anyways, so I've got this piece of hair. So what you do for the twist and rip, which is what I'm going to be doing, twist and rip method, is you twist your hair, and then you take it from kind of around the bottom, and then you just pull it upwards so that it knots. And then you can tighten it a little bit more. Because let's say your hair, like your roots are up here, but let's say the knot stops here. You can take it from behind. That's what she said. And I can't believe I just said that. I just made a that's what she said joke. Anyways, so then their knot can be at the root. And then you just keep doing that. Yikes. Just keep doing that until you have a knot all the way up and things like that. So you just keep doing that and then tightening it. If you do them really, really tight and like you make sure that they're super tight, they can lock up faster, but they can also, well, sometimes they can, sometimes they can't, like lose some length. I don't know the science behind why they may or may not lose any length, but yeah, so far some of mine have lost a little bit of length and some of them haven't. I don't know. I kind of want them all to shrink up a bit, because then they'll start to get a little funkier and stuff. I don't know. I just kind of want them to start doing weirder things. They're pretty normal. But yeah. Also, just ye be warned, you are going to get hair like on your lap. Just to let you know. there is definitely, it's not going to be just a clean environment. Also, what helps is if you haven't washed your hair in like a day or two, maybe like the longer you haven't washed your hair, the better, because then it's just not, it's, if it's soft, it's harder to tangle, and it's harder to like keep it tangled, and then it wants to not be tangled and stuff, and so then it's not that fun. So yeah, this is what you've got, and sometimes you have a little bit of more things sticking out. Like you can see I've got like, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but like whatever, it's just a little dread. But yeah, so I'll just keep doing that. And when you're separating them at the bottom, when you keep twisting them and pulling them apart, what you want to do is try not to pull the same two sections apart every time. Like, I don't know if that makes any sense, but like twist your hair and then twist it together, and you know, like try to change it up a bit so that like you get different knots. So like let's say you grabbed right in half the first time, I would do like, I don't know, like a bigger section and then a smaller section just to make sure they get like knotted. So I don't know, it makes sense to me. Maybe it doesn't actually make sense, but that's just how I think of it. But yeah, so then if it's short, it's going to stick out, as you can see. It's got like the alfalfa thing going on. But yeah, so this will just be your dread. What I recommend is using elastic bands at the roots. I did that when I first made my dreadlocks. I'm not going to do it this time because it's just one dread. Like, I will do it just to show you, but like, I'm not going to do it because it's just one dread, and all my elastic bands are white, and I fucking hate the way that looks when it's like you got a shit ton of like white dreads, and then I have one white elastic band at the front, so it's just like, no thank you. But anyways, so these are I'm just gonna put that back right now. These are the extensions that I have. They're not long, and the reason for that is because before I made my dreads, I used to wear extensions, and then it was kind of a shitstorm because I would have extensions, and then I used to want to change my hair a lot, so then I would dye my hair and then I would dye the extensions, and that just like fucking ruined the extensions, especially if you want to like do stuff with your hair. So let's say you straighten your hair every day, it's going to do stuff to the extensions if you straighten the extensions as well. Or if you curl it, that's even worse because sometimes it can take longer to do it right, and that can just like fry the crap out of your hair. So yeah, anyways, I did that, and I think I burned through like maybe 3 or 4 sets of extensions, and then I bought a new pair that were like longer, you know, I think they were like 16 inches or something like that, and I dyed those to match my hair color because they were just not dark enough. And then that was when I was like, okay, you know what, fuck it, I'm sick of like having to put in these extensions and stuff and like just getting pissed off by the way they're turning out and like having to re-dye them and then just frying them and things like that. And so then I don't know how I started thinking about dreadlocks, but I started thinking about dreadlocks. I think I may have seen a picture or something like that, and I thought, that's awesome. Can you do extensions with dreadlocks? Because if I did extensions with dreadlocks, that means that I would never have to ever like put them in again. I would never have to like worry about anything like that because they're dreadlocks. Like, how can you clip in like an extended dread? Oh, I was gonna be really disappointed. I remember thinking actually that I would be really disappointed if it was like you had to clip them in and it was still a dreadlock, but you didn't have to. But anyways, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so then I ended up making dreads, and then they matched my hair and stuff like that, and yeah, you know, I preferred doing that a lot as opposed to having extensions. But yes, those ones were longer, and so most of my hair was made with those. But then I didn't really make enough dreads, and like I didn't section my hair properly, and like I don't care because like they're fine and stuff, but it just in the long run it screwed me a bit. But regardless, so the reason why these ones are shorter is because these ones were a lot less expensive when I wanted to make new dreads, and it's not like I was going to re-dread my entire head, so it didn't matter if I had to if I didn't get as many. But like I did, this is not a lot of extensions. These were a lot longer. They were a lot like the length this way, not the like length of the hair, because these are new. Well, they're not new, but like they're not used. And so yeah, so the reason why I have these short ones is because I just needed to do a couple of dreads. I didn't need to do a lot, So I just got these ones, and I figured I could make a dread, and then if I want it to be longer, I could just make 2 dreads, dread these together, and then put it in my hair, which is what I did for some of them, and it worked out fine. So it's not really a big deal if you don't have long extensions. But what I do when I make dreads is the way I like, because it's kind of hard to tell, like, oh, how is this going to make a dread or something. So I'd fold it in half and, like, you know, kind of just turn it and see, like, you know, is that about the size that I want? Yeah. And then I would just snip it, take it, snip it where it's coming off carefully. Some of you are going to think this is gross, this part's gross, but I don't have anything else to use. I know that my sister thinks it's fucking disgusting, but, like, I don't care, okay? I don't care. This is how I have to make my dreads. I have to put the extension in my mouth and then make, like, you turn it like that, okay? So please don't judge me. This is just how I make them. It doesn't matter to me. This is just how I make them. So you're doing it the same way that you would make any other dread. But see, these extensions, like I said, are unused, and so they're a lot softer, and then they're harder to dread. Not to mention that you'll notice that the hair thins out at the bottom, and I don't know why it does that, but it does. It thins out a lot at the bottom, and so then my dread ends up being thicker at the top and not as thick at the bottom, and it looks ugly sometimes. Like, but it doesn't matter because I don't want my dreads to be perfect. But if you do want perfect dreads, you should probably get a different set of extensions, or I would also recommend doing the 2 extensions and dreading them together and then putting them in your hair and stuff. So, yeah. But yeah, so you just dread it like this, and you keep just doing it the same way. Sometimes it's a little bit more difficult, like I said, because they're softer. So, I don't know, maybe you could use extensions that you already use or something like that, or, I don't know, just, I don't know what you could do to make them not soft. There's not really much you can do. But, yeah. It dreads up alright. Like, you can see what it's looking like. And, like, you know, if you don't really like the, like, fuzzy look, you can also use a crochet hook, and you just kind of, like, weave them all in. And like, I don't use a crochet hook properly. I just kind of go in and then grab a bunch and, like, pull it around and stuff, you know, like, I don't know, like, I think there's a specific way you're supposed to do it, where, like, you bring it in and then you grab, like, a certain piece of hair or something, you wrap it around it, and you, like, curl it in and back, and you weave it through or something. I don't know, but regardless, like, I just like to do it like this. And, yeah, so you'll end up with something like this. What I would also recommend doing is, at the top, dread the shit out of that with your crochet hook. Like, just knot it up as much as you can, and, like, it's really, really soft. So, like, it's hard to make it stay, but, like, just try to make, like, a really huge knot at the top, because what ends up happening is you cut off the top of the extension here, right? And then you have this hair that, like, kind of sticks out and it's not attached, so it kind of wants to come out of the dread. But and then you, like, pull it out and stuff, and it gets, like, a lot thinner, you know? Because, I know from experience, because I did that. I just was like, okay, so how much of this can I pull out without it, like, not being a dread? And then it turns out you can pull a lot out before you don't want to use it anymore. But, yeah, so I would just recommend doing that. You'll end up with something like this. You can, like, I didn't finish it because, like, the end is still, like, I wouldn't go too far. I'd probably stop about here, because, with my dreads, like, that's just the way I like them to look. You can see that, like, this dread, like, this entire thing is a dread, but where I stopped knotting it would have been about here-ish, maybe, just because, like, I like the way it looks when you have, like, just the ends kind of like this. I don't like the blunted ends. Not that there's anything wrong with that, it's just that not my style. But, yes, so that would be that, and then you cut off the end. Cut it off. And then, see, look, it's like, it's very, like, frayed and stuff at the top, and like I said, you can pull, like, lots of, like, the hair out and stuff if you don't knot it, you know. I don't know. So, yeah, not very nice. So then I would just keep, sometimes, depending on, okay, I tried a couple of different methods when I made my dreads. So, sometimes I, like, would have left the top of the dread like this, because I used to do it when you, like, kind of push a little hole into it. and you stick your dread inside, and you kind of dread around it. But that method, like, kind of, your dreads can fall out, and I don't know, it just didn't really work that well for me. I only did a couple of them like that, and it didn't work out too well. And then the other reason why I would sometimes leave it frayed like this is if I wasn't going to do it that way, I could weave my dread into it, and then this would be kind of like, I don't know, cover up kind of thing. So like I could weave it around my dread so that it would kind of make it look more natural, like more like this was my dread as well. So there's that. But now I don't really do that just because like I will leave some of it frayed just so that I can still do that cover up thing, but not as much because now I'm gonna sew this in. Thank you to that person who recommended that, by the way. But yes, so that's about it. This is how I did my dreadlock. This is how I made my dreadlocks. And hopefully this helped. By the way, my crochet hook, I have 1.5, but depending on what size dreads you're going to be making, I really wouldn't recommend going above like 1.75 because, like, I don't know, it's just more damaging to your hair the bigger it is. And also if you're doing small dreadlocks, like really small dreadlocks, then you definitely want a smaller crochet hook. Like a big crochet hook is not the answer for you if you're trying to do a small dreads. But yeah, so that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'd love to answer any questions anybody has, and hope you all have a good day. So there you go.